Hi everyone, my name's Ben and I'm an associate in Farrer & Co.'s charity and community team. I'm here with Amelia, Dan and Emily, who earlier this month participated on our first fully virtual vacation schemes, on which I also supervised 3 of the participants. So we're going to start by briefly introducing ourselves, and then we're going to have a chat about Amelia, Dan and Emily's experiences on the scheme, and I hope they'll also offer some tips and advice for others considering a career in law. So Amelia, if we could start with you.
Yes, hi, I am Amelia Wellington. I am a paralegal in the Family and Divorce Department at Kingsley Napley. I studied the LPC and the GDL after doing philosophy and sociology at Exeter.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm a second year law student at Cambridge.
Hi, I'm Emily. I have been studying the GDL whilst doing the VAC scheme, and I studied history at the University of Manchester.
Great, thank you. And as I mentioned, I'm Ben. I did a vacation scheme as well with the firm in 2014. I was also a supervisor, as I mentioned, on this and other schemes, and gave a few of the participants an insight both into the firm generally and the charity team and my work as a charity lawyer specifically, which I enjoyed very much. I'm also an ambassador for Aspiring Solicitors, which seeks to improve diversity in the legal profession, and a member of Legal Best, which supports LGBT. So let's get into the questions. How did you all hear about Farrers, and what motivated you to apply? Starting with Amelia.
Yes, so I first heard about Farrers because of the reputation of the firm. I have been doing family law for a couple of years, and I have also worked with Farrers alumni.
Yeah, I learned about Farrers from the Chamber student, actually online. I spoke to my career service, they recommended I have a look and heard that I had a really good reputation, and I was drawn to the firm.
Like Emily, I heard from Farrers online. I looked at Legal 500 and Legal Cheek, and I also heard really good things about Farrers from my career service, and particularly about its brilliant reputation.
Great, thank you. I think that there is a wealth of online resources out there, and I think there are some really good ones, both, like you mentioned, Legal 500, which kind of talks about the practice areas that a firm is known for and maybe speaks to its reputation generally. And then there are also other websites like True Picture, which give more of a honest trainee, perhaps, insight into what it's like training with a firm and what the firm atmosphere is like as well, which I'd recommend. What were your expectations before the scheme, and did they match with reality? Perhaps starting with Emily.
Yeah, so I had high expectations after the open day. I was really looking forward to it. I was a little bit apprehensive because, never done a virtual experience before, wasn't sure how it was going to work. But when I got onto the scheme, I really enjoyed it. Felt the firm were very welcoming. It was very well organised, and it ran really seamlessly.
Like Emily, I had a very positive experience at the open day. Having been working remotely for a few months, I was quite keen to see how the day would pan out virtually. But yes, I really enjoyed it.
Yes, I had a really great experience at the open day, and I was really pleased to see that the scheme was really aimed at me finding out more about the firm, and I felt that I was able to get a really good insight from a good cross-section across the firm.
Great. I think the vacation scheme, it's a really good opportunity for not only the firm to find out more about you, but also you to find more out about the firm. It allows you to kind of determine whether we kind of meet your expectations as well, which is very, very important as it's your career.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the day overall, and my favourite part was the legal research. I thought it was really great to experience doing what a trainee would be doing.
I thought the best bit of the day was being able to talk to my principal. I really enjoyed being able to get his perspective on how his career at Farrers has developed, the sorts of clients he deals with, how interesting those clients are, and to see his enthusiasm for his work. In particular, I was really impressed with how easy it is to take different directions in your career development at Farrers. And so it was very clear that there's a lot of excitement ahead. The firm gives you room to develop and to explore what sort of things you'd like to work on.
It was a great opportunity to, of course, learn about the firm, more about the firm, their experiences, also learning about how I may apply my family experience to, say, corporate training seats. That was really, really useful.
Great, fantastic. And then, did you learn anything new about the firm? Was there anything that particularly surprised you or you weren't expecting?
I was really pleased to find out about how exciting and passionate the particular clients are for their line of work, and how that can make working with them a real joy, because you can see the impact that you're having on their business. And then other areas, I think when it came to family, I was able to see just the sort of impact that the work that Farrah's does can have on a personal level with their clients, and that was really important to me.
I would say the key thing I took in terms of new knowledge about Farrah's was how varied the corporate and commercial side of the firm's practice is. I would say that at the opening day, I gained more of an insight into how varied the firm's private client practice is, but not so much about the corporate and commercial side. So having studied commercial and IP on the LPC, that was something that was really important to me. And it was nice to have contact with both family and corporate members of the firm.
It's great that you've kind of been able to see quite a broad cross-section of the firm and the people who work here. And finally, Emily.
Yeah, no, I agree with Dan and Amelia. I think just realising how diverse the firm actually was in what they do in their practice areas, but also experiencing what it would be like to be a trainee. I think that was something I learned from the day. They really gave you an opportunity to see what it'd be like working virtually, but also, you know, getting to do something with your associate, talking to the trainees. You really got a feel for what the firm is like, that the culture really is how everyone says it is, it's friendly. So I really kind of more confirmed what I already thought about the firm, but it was really nice to actually see that on the day.
Excellent. I think my experience of doing the VAT scheme at Farrah's as well was that the experience on the vacation scheme is very much representative of the experience as a trainee. So it really is a great insight into, do I want to work here, and do I enjoy the type of work that I'd potentially be doing for a couple of years? And then, will you now be thinking of applying for a training contract at Farrah's, and would you recommend the firm to others?
Yes, I have applied for a training contract at the firm. I have recommended the firm to others and will continue to do so. I would say the 6-seat system in particular is something that when I talk about Farrah's with my peers is not something that they have heard of or necessarily considered. It's quite important to me that I'm able to get a lot of exposure to a breadth of practice areas. And I know many of my friends are in the same position and would like to hear a bit more about my experience at Farrah's in that respect.
Great. I think the 6-seat system was really important for me as well, actually. I wasn't totally sure about what I wanted to go into, but I knew that I wanted to experience quite a broad range. So it was quite useful for me to experience different areas of law. And now, as a practicing lawyer, it's been great because now I have kind of the varied knowledge that allows me to maybe have a baseline level understanding of different areas and knowing the people who work in those areas.
Yeah.
And Dan, over to you.
Yeah, like Amelia, I've also put in an application for a training contract. I was really struck by the level of responsibility that trainees are given during their training contract, and that's something that's quite important to me. I think the small trainee intake really helps with that, and I think that also helps socially as well. You're all working together in quite a small group. I think that's very pleasant, and the diversity of the practice areas is something that also really appeals to me, and that's something that I've stressed to my friends when I've spoken about applications with them.
Yeah, I agree with what all of you have said, and I have applied for a training contract, but the whole day really gave me that experience of the culture, and that this is a firm that's really supportive and friendly and welcoming, and that's something I'm really looking for in a firm and would recommend to anyone. I think the training would be really amazing at the firm and you'd get really invaluable experience.
Great, thank you. Well, it sounds brilliant. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts. I think I personally as well really enjoyed my time training at Farrah's, and I think all of the points that you've picked up on are absolutely true, and certainly my experience as well. So lastly, to finish, would you have any tips for anyone who's interested in a career in law and is thinking of applying for vacation schemes and training contracts?
I think it's important to really do your research into what the other firms are like, and to see beyond the otherwise quite impenetrable image that they have on their websites. A lot of firms look really, really good on paper. And I think it's important to delve deeper to try and appreciate the culture of the firm and to realise whether it's the sort of place that would really suit you. And I think one of the main ways you can do this is by talking to people that actually work at those firms. And you can do that by reaching out and putting yourself out there. It can seem quite intimidating at first, but I think plenty of lawyers are really willing to give you a few moments of their time to talk to you, to answer your questions. And I think that's one of the best ways to really get an insight into whether it would be a good fit.
I think that's really great advice. And the only thing I'd add to that is it can be quite intimidating, but I mean, I definitely recommend it. But if you're not perhaps comfortable being that direct and reaching out to people, there are also bodies that you can get in touch with and become members of, like aspiring solicitors, who could then perhaps put you in touch with firms themselves and people who work at those firms.
What I'd probably tell myself starting out is get ready for rejection and just keep going and find firms that really fit you and that you really want to go to. Don't just apply to loads of firms, really pick the firms that you like and want to apply to and learn about them, and just keep going. Even if you do get rejected, it's just a learning process.
Definitely be prepared for rejection. That's a very, very, very good advice. Very true advice. And Amelia?
Yes, I would say my first tip is just be open-minded. I would say even at this early stage of your applications and my own, I have found it much more valuable being open-minded in respect of my training and what seats I expect to be able to do. And the second tip I would give is just to use this time wisely. It's hard, and we're very fortunate in that Farrers is one of the few firms that have taken their vacation schemes online. But I wouldn't underestimate the time now, the value in taking the time to really hone those transferable skills. It doesn't just have to be internships or legal stuff, but you really will get the opportunity to showcase yourself in that respect. And just focusing on your personal and professional development during this time is really valuable.
I completely agree with that. It doesn't just have to be legal related. I think at Farrers, as you all kind of mentioned, it's important that you be you as an individual and be comfortable talking about all the experiences that you've had, whether they're law related or not. And I think that leads me on to my final tip, which is when you're applying, very much be comfortable in being open about who you are and be yourself. I think my tendency was, when I first started applying, was to think, what makes a lawyer and how do I fit into that mold? But I think we definitely need people who don't fit into a mold. So be yourself. So that rounds off the discussion. So thanks very much, Amelia, Dan and Emily. That was absolutely fantastic. And if anybody is interested in finding out more about Farrers or would like to apply for a VAC scheme or a training contract, please get in touch, take a look at our website and follow us on social media. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.